All right. So, hello, Eily. We have Eily that so graciously has come on and agreed to just chat about her gut rehab experience. She just finished gut rehab, and I will let her fill you in on what she was dealing with before and where she is now. But just kind of starting off, Eily, jumping right into it, could you just tell us a little bit about you? Like, first of all, you, who are you, Eily? And start there, and then we'll go into what were you dealing with before GR?
Okay, so I would consider myself a fit type girl, athlete person, always
Mm,
thought of myself as super healthy, ate a good diet all the time. I used to drink a little bit, but I had totally stopped that like a year before I even started gut rehab. Anyways, I was still struggling. Like I had taken out everything out of my diet already before I joined gut rehab in an attempt to get better just digestion. I was having all over the map bowel movements from constipation to diarrhea and just crazy like bloating and gassiness. And I just knew that there was something wrong with my gut because the number one symptom that kept popping up for me was acne. Like I've just had acne
mm,
pretty much like since I was a teenager, but when I started healing my gut or trying to heal my gut on my own, I just the acne kind of popped up again because I started like not using such harsh chemicals on my face and I was trying to like be really clean. And
mm.
so it just kind of popped up and I was like, okay, well, there's obviously something still going on in my digestive system that's not like functioning properly. And you always hear about like open the drainage funnel, and as long as your drainage funnel's open, all the toxins will come out of your body and everything will work properly. But I was like, what am I doing wrong? I'm not eating,
Mm.
I'm not drinking alcohol, I'm not drinking coffee, I'm not eating gluten or dairy or
Right.
any of that, and it was still happening. So I was just like so pissed off and frustrated and
Yeah.
didn't know what to do. And then
And
I
if I
found
if
you.
I could just pause you really quick, Eily, and
Yeah.
like thanks for filling us in. I just want to recap what you said. Like before GR, like healthy, active, and you're really into climbing
Yes.
specifically.
Mhm.
Really into climbing. When we first chatted, I mean, just talking about your diet, it was just like what I think most people would think of as a very healthy diet, if not restrictive.
Mhm.
And that's where you were in attempts to try to heal your gut, rebalance your body, that kind of thing. Could you remind us or remind me how long you were dealing with the gut issues before GR? Like, how long were you dealing with it? And aside from diet changes to eat healthier, was there anything else that you had tried?
I had been dealing with it for a little over a year, almost a year and a half before I started gut rehab. And I, yeah, I had just totally basically eliminated everything from my diet in trying to make this stop. I continued climbing the whole time. So
Mm.
I knew that like working out crazily was not good for my body to try and heal, but I was trying to keep it pretty mellow and I was being very aware of all that. But other than like diet stuff, I had no idea what else to try. Like that was pretty
I
much the
remember you were working with like somebody else before. You were doing other supplements and
I had
things.
tried other practitioners. You're right. So there's more than I did try about a million supplements.
Yeah, I remember that piece.
Yeah, there's a specific brand that I went through. I mean, I had like 100 bottles around my house of things that I would try for a little bit and then stop. Or I read about this on the internet. I'd try that for a little bit and like it would make everything worse and then I stop. And I was just like throwing everything at it. And then I'd had a lot of practitioners who just kept adding things on and not taking anything out. And things would get worse. And then they'd be like, oh, okay, just back off of that. We'll try it again later. But like they wouldn't bring in anything else. And that was like,
Mm.
it was just like a cookie cutter sort of here's a protocol, try it. And if it doesn't work, we'll back off a little bit and try it again in a little while. So it's
Yeah.
just like just this crazy torture whirlwind of just trying things and nothing would work.
extremely, just so relatable, I feel. For me, for so many other people watching, where you clearly had the motivation to fix things. Like motivation was not the issue. It wasn't oh, well, I'll just live like this. Like you're the type of person, it sounds like, and knowing you now, you knew your body was out of balance, specifically the gut, and you had the skin thing going on, and you were actively trying things. And I think so many of us, the natural thing is you go to Dr. Google, then you also go to practitioners, and you're investing all this time and energy. And it's like, well, why is it not coming together? Like, why is it not coming together? And putting all of this effort in, spending all this money. What's missing? Why is it not clicking? How are you feeling right before you, I guess, like found out about Gut Rehab, or you found me online? Like, how were you feeling physically and just about the situation?
I was at my wit's end. I think I even told you when we had our first conversation that it was either this or I was just gonna like give up and just start
Yeah.
eating whatever again, because I had tried everything. And like you said, I was so disciplined, and I felt like I was the kind of person who, I mean, I didn't know anyone else like me who could give up everything. And
Yeah.
just, why was it not working? It was just so mentally defeating and depressing. And my confidence was just like going further and further into the toilet. And I was just like, so I might as well eat whatever I want. I mean, at least I'll be happy then, right?
Yeah.
At least I'll have some kind of good feeling. But yeah, I was at the
Totally.
point.
And I'm glad you're sharing that. And I'm kind of bringing that up because I think it's totally natural for us to feel, no matter how motivated or dedicated we are to having a balanced body, living our best life, all the things, like when nothing is clicking, something I hear all the time is like, honestly, like maybe I just eat whatever. Maybe I should just do whatever, because what all the efforts I'm putting in don't seem to be working anyways. And one thing I'm going to get into in a second, which I know like really started to click early on for you in Gut Rehab, is that, hey, it's not that this holistic stuff is BS. It's more that getting your gut back in alignment, clearing the skin. It's not just a matter of like eating healthier or taking the right supplements, but it's really basically this combination lock that needs to be personalized to the individual, where we're not just trying to get you to eat healthier to fix your gut. It's, well, what does your body need? And in what balance, and I think highlighting that early on, that can be a really big shift for anybody watching, and that totally got it. You can totally feel like you were feeling done. It's not that your efforts are useless. It's that it's how are we doing it? And do we understand that it's like this combo lock? So anyways, you're at that place, but then we connect over Instagram, and so many people find me on IG. What was your, at the time, like goal? Because you're almost about to give up. Like, what were you looking for at that point? Like, what did you want out of working with me or working with anybody else when you found Gut Rehab? Like, what was the, hey, I'm going to do this? Like, why?
I had followed you for a couple months, like quite a few, many months. And it was just the combo of everything that I would see on your page, honestly. Like, I just saw, I mean, you had been through what I had been through with the acne, and that you had gotten over it, and that you'd gotten a lot of other people over it, and that you were so gorgeous now. And I was like, and that it related to gut healing. And I knew in my heart of hearts that this had to do with my gut. And I just knew that that was like the key to unlocking the whole thing. But just everything else around it, like your mindset, the things that you would post, just about like stress in women's lives, and just how important it is to really like try to keep that under control, and just the holistic part of it all you always included in your stories and everything. And and then even to deeper issues like psoriasis and autoimmune conditions and hormone stuff. And I was just like, this really is like the golden key. I mean, I knew it all along with my background in natural therapeutics too, that the gut is like the key to it all. But just seeing it unlock everything, like in all of your stories with all your clients, I just couldn't believe that you had such tangible like evidence of this happening. So I was like,
Sure.
I want in that. That's what I want. I want to do that.
No. And thanks for saying that. And I do want to highlight too, you did have a background in, you said natural therapeutics.
Yes, for many years ago, I did get my certificate in natural therapeutics, which does all kinds of holistic healing and Chinese medicine and herbs and all of that kind of stuff. And then I went to allopathic medicine for my job more recently, but now this whole experience has so strangely gotten me completely back into that other world, which I never wanted to leave really. And I'm just so excited to be getting back into it because I feel like this could help so many people. And the best part is it's like such a simple, doable approach that like won't take up your whole life or
Right.
your own money out of your bank account or like years
Right.
and years to do. It's just like a very doable, tangible thing to do in a certain, pretty certain amount of time. It's pretty awesome.
No, and we're going to get into that in a second. And the reason why I brought up the natural therapeutics piece is because there's also this, I was there. I feel like there's this false assumption that if you are a personal trainer, if you're have a certificate in some natural health thing, if you are a dietitian, if you are a nutritionist, if you are in this wellness space, then that means you should have it all figured out. And if you don't have it all figured out, if you have gut issues or skin issues, then your body just must be broken or something, because you should know all the things. And so that's why I highlight you had this background. And I think what's so big for people to know watching this is information, like knowing a bunch of information, amazing. There's a very big difference though between having information and knowing what applies to you. And oftentimes we can't see our own blind spots. And I always share on my stories, it's like, I didn't just, pave this clear path by myself. Such a big part of healing when something's chronic is getting that outside opinion that can see things objectively.
Yes.
Like it's such a big piece. And I think sometimes we have to reach that point where we've tried all the things and we're finally like surrender, where it sounded like kind of you're at that place. But just want to highlight, you had this natural background and you still were in that position like so many women are. But thank you for that. So then just flash forwarding into the one piece that I think I missed here was just, you resonate with a lot of stuff in my story is the holistic aspect. And I think, anybody who does decide to work with LNA Wellness, do gut rehab, specifically that program, you want a holistic approach. Like, you want a holistic approach, but you're looking for some kind of strategy here. But you specifically, like, what were you going for? What did you want out of doing gut rehab? What was the goal?
The goal, I remember telling you my first goal was to fix my gut health and that my second goal was acne. But even then secretly I was like, it's really acne. Like if I get out of this and I still have acne, I'm going to be pretty sad.
Right. And so the main goal was the acne, truthfully, fixing the gut. And, we had the conversation and I told you, like, I wouldn't take you on if I wasn't confident, but at the same time, it's not a magic pill. I'm not guaranteeing anything. And if I did, that'd frankly be a little sketch, because the body is the body, and any guarantees or overnight fixes, kind of a red flag, and not to say I didn't ever fall for those, but I like to be super transparent. And when you were like, yeah, I get that, but it just seems like there's a missing piece here, we're like, let's do it. So you jumped in, and can we just flash forward now to like 2 months in to gut rehab? Gut rehab is 3 months. First of all, your skin right now, it hasn't been that long since you finished gut rehab. I don't see any acne. Like, your skin is clear. When did you start seeing the change? Like, what changes did you see? Let's just say, like, what changes did you see when you see the change?
Okay, well, the first week of gut rehab, I literally didn't have any bloating anymore. Like the scale was 0 to 10 and I had 0 bloating, which is pretty freaking crazy. And I remember telling you, like, I didn't even know I was bloated until gut rehab, honestly, because I was just always low level bloated.
Oh my gosh. But that's so relatable. It's like we get used to that. And I always say this online, it's like, or on social, just bloating isn't normal. Feeling like crap isn't normal, but it's normal for you to normalize it if it's become your normal. Totally. And one thing when people always ask, okay, so the bloating went away, what did you guys do? So if you don't mind me swooping in here and saying, it's like, you were eating healthy, but were we eating aligned? I think something that's really big when we're struggling with gut-based issues is, and I had to learn this the hard way, when your gut's stressed, a lot of the healthy foods that we're all told to eat, plants, nuts, seeds, all those things, like for some people, that can be very aggravating. So I remember discussing with you, it's like, hey, we're not saying that you're never going to eat those foods again, or that like plants are bad. Now we're going to overhaul your diet overnight. It was more like, oh, let's get you eating foods that are easier to digest and starting where you're at and making small changes.
Yeah, it was really not a big change, but it was like so obvious when I finally did it. I was eating all of those things. I was the girl putting the entire produce section in my smoothie every day with nuts and seeds and granola on top. And then I would feel so full afterwards for like hours and be like, but I'm doing what they want. They said all the veggies, make it 75% veggies, put them all in there. And yeah, as soon as I made that smoothie simpler, like, wow, I think that was like the number one thing that really helped. And then, you know, we did some other things too, but
Totally. I just wanted to highlight that piece though. It's like sometimes when we feel like we're so out of balance, like, oh my gosh, I'm so out of balance, it must be something crazy I have to do. Do I have a parasite? Like, that's like where I think most people's minds go when they're trying all the healthy things. And it's just like, something simple cannot possibly work. And so just highlighting that, yeah, things can feel very complex, but the medicine, I say in quotes, is often simplicity. And so we did some diet stuff. We also got you on some targeted steps versus you had shared a minute ago. You were on a bunch of supplements, like you were open to that. And that's really big. But I remember sharing with you, because your gut was stressed, the last thing we wanted was for you to be on a bunch of supplements. We actually simplified that. So like less supplements, just more targeted. And that got the ball rolling. And you started to hint at, like, we do the tangible stuff first, diet, supplement, realignment. And then as you go throughout the process, all the holistic things people think about, they come into play, but they come into play once you start to feel better. And so flash forward to, I guess, either the end or when I remember just like the message you were sending me, like, what changed for you from gut rehab, physically speaking first?
Oh man.
Started with acne, you were bloated, you lacked what I call diet clarity, because you're like, hey, I'm eating all the right things other people are telling me to eat, but I don't feel good. And I remember you sharing this on the phone during our first call, like when you were deciding if you were going to do it, you're like, yeah, I would just like want to eat out at a restaurant. That'd be nice, like without stress. That's not too much to ask, people. Like, I have been there. And we start to feel like that's maybe too much. No. So anyways, month 2, beginning of month 3, things are really shifting. What physically changed for you?
Okay, well, without even trying, I lost, actually now it's at 12 pounds. Yeah, it keeps going down. I'm not trying. I keep trying to eat more food, honestly. And it's just such healing good food that I just eat more of it. And that's what I've been doing. But so weight loss, puffiness, bloating, cramping, my bowels have totally changed. So it was like kind of all over throughout gut rehab, and now it's like
On
type
point.
4, awesome, complete, like certain times it's like pretty predictable. And then also like my skin was kind of doing this throughout too.
Yeah.
But I kind of unlocked like this huge thing I had been eating like throughout the entire thing that I didn't want to give up. And then I actually was forced to give it up during a detox that you suggested toward the end, when I was like, what is happening? Why is it still happening? And it was dark chocolate. And bam, as soon as I got rid of that, like within 5 days, it was just like gone. Everything that I had been.
So this is really big. I want to share this too, because it's specific. You are coming in, as most people do, with multiple things going on. There's the skin stuff going on. There's the gut stuff going on. Puffiness, feeling all out of balance. We start small and slow, right? And we start, I don't want to say general, but like we grab low-hanging fruit first. We don't need to do any, and I think this is big for people to know, we don't need to go right in with a bunch of fancy testing and a bunch of all that stuff, not because I'm anti-testing, but when we're in a state of chaos with our body, a lot of data oftentimes doesn't make the process simpler. We just start with most simple things. Anyways, that got you so far, as in, like you said, the first week, not as bloated, actually like no bloating, you said from 10 to 0. And then remember energy and all these different things are aligning, but because we want to be realistic here, come month 2, like you said, your skin is still a little bit up, was a little bit up and down. So the beauty of going through like a process, I think, versus, hey, Eily, here's this new plan you're on, boom, one and done. This was a process we went through together. Where we had this conversation come the end of month 2. It's like, oh, we're still having some skin issues. All right, well, now this makes sense. So I did recommend this detox, which anybody's watching this who's curious, definitely message me, I'll chat with you about it. But Eily was up for doing it. She did the detox, and through the detox, she essentially was forced to eliminate one more food. But she was feeling so great kind of before that. You don't mind me speaking for you, but like you're feeling good before that. You're like, okay, let me remove this. And through that removal, you discovered what I call, again, another layer of personal diet clarity. Oh, wow, here's a food that I ate all the time that's supposed to be healthy that I didn't realize was a personal sensitivity. That when you removed it, your skin cleared up. And it happened to be cacao, dark chocolate.
And no big deal. I just started adding some gluten-free cookies.
Right. It's not the end of the world. I mean, I mean, there is an element of like, well, that sucks. But what I think is so key for people to know is, one, it's personal. You know, I work with other people who have acne, and dark chocolate's not the thing.
Right.
And it was just the gut stuff. But what we're sharing here is like going through a process that keeps stress low, and that's logical, will reveal these things that seem like such mysteries.
Yeah.
Very naturally, but it totally feels like a tornado of confusion when there's no process to follow. So here you are, you identified that. And like, how does it feel? Like, what do you feel like your relationship to food is like now? Like, how do you feel given you seem just very, like you said, you're eating more and you're also just like releasing excess weight that apparently doesn't belong there. I don't know. But how do you feel about food and like your sense of diet clarity?
I'd feel free to eat out. I feel free to make whatever I want. I pretty much am sticking to a lot of the key tenets of the simple diet, just because it feels so good. And I have such great performance in my sport throughout it. And I don't have to think about food. I can just I know I have these foods that I can eat, and I can eat lots of them. I can eat tons of it if I want, and I'll still feel great. I won't be bloated. It won't put weight on. It will fuel my energy for what I need to do. And I won't have any mind fog or any hungover feeling from any of it. I just feel great all the time. So why not keep doing it? There's a few things I've added in, but honestly, it just feels so good that I keep doing it. And then I know what I can eat out, so that's no problem. I go out and have a burger, just add a gluten-free bun and some avocado and some sweet potato fries and call it a day.
That's so big for people to know. And that's so, and you, I saw the picture you posted the other day of you went out and had a burger. And I think for so many women, myself included, before doing something or before finding diet clarity, before understanding the piece of the puzzle, unlocking, what I call my combination lock, your combination lock, things like burgers or sweet potato fries. It's what? And so hearing that you are now in this place where, you can eat out and you're not locked into, all jokes aside, having to walk on eggshells. Otherwise, ish hits the fan. And I think that's just so big to be there's a lot of ways to heal out there. There's a lot of ways to feel better. But I think what you got at the beginning, or we kind of just touched on, is you weren't just doing this just to fix the acne or just to fix the thing. You wanted that, but you were doing this for your life. You want to be able to live your life. You're so involved in this sport, you family life, relationship, all these different things. And it's okay, whatever gets you, whatever fixes the problem or rebalances you, better be sustainable.
Yes, exactly. Because how else are you going to keep it up? Exactly. And and now it's if you ever do, this last week, I kind of subconsciously / knew what I was doing, ate some spicy food just to see what would happen. And it did like kind of cause some inflammation and stuff, but like I was like, okay, it's fine because I know I can go back to these foods that are my safety net and they're totally healing, and I'll just go back to those and I'll be totally fine. I just wanted to see what would happen.
Like, and I love that though. I love that because you trust yourself. It's like part of this process too, I think we didn't touch on, but it's just like evident what you just said. This something a lot of women, men as well, crave is not just fixing an issue, but just knowing themselves. And like when I say knowing them, like knowing what you can handle, knowing what to do if something goes awry, like just knowing how to handle it and not feeling like, oh my gosh, and then turning to Dr. Google. And so I think what's really cool is in the past 3 months, it's like because you feel better and you've been in the driver's seat the whole time.
Mhm.
I gave the guidance. Gut Rehab gives the guidance, but you've been in the driver's seat. And so you now don't feel, it's like no anxiety with you trying foods that are new because you know what to do if it goes wrong, and you're fine. And I think that's so big too, is knowing that
It's
like,
huge. Like a lot of people that are coming into this probably are like me too, that had crazy food sensitivities. That was another thing that I went into all this with. And
yeah,
that can cause so much fear and anxiety and just around eating in general, much less going out to eat with other people. And like that's what makes you feel so separated from society and other
yeah,
people. Then you get into that downward spiral. And like if that's what you can get, if you can get that out of this, like that's pretty huge because that kind of lets you live your life again. Just like be a normal person, you have freedom, you know what you can and can't, like you have control. Like you said, diet clarity.
that's huge. No, that's everything. So, you know, wrapping up now, you're done with GR. You kind of, your energy, everything just kind of speaks for itself. 2 more questions. One, was there anything that almost held you back or thoughts before you decided to do gut rehab? Because again, like you said, most people are considering this after trying a bunch of stuff. And I say very clearly, hey, I'm not promising any magic pill, like no practitioner should, right? I've just bundled up this process that I've seen over and over again leads people to where they want to be. But at the end of the day, it's your choice. Like what what thoughts did you have beforehand that you all maybe potentially didn't do? Or were you all in? Were you like, I'm just ready from the start?
So after talking to you, I was pretty much like, I definitely want to do this. This sounds perfect. I have a feeling that this will be awesome for me. I think I paused for like a couple hours on the price just to like really make sure I wanted to do it and look at some more testimonials and stuff. But by the end of that time, I was like, you are totally worth this. You've tried everything else. What do you have to lose? It seems like this has worked for so many people. And then when I decided, I was just like, yeah, I'm all in. And then I
Yeah.
never looked back. Like I don't have any regrets at all. It's fabulous. So
No, thanks for sharing that piece. It's huge. The investment, it's such a personal thing. It totally is. I think knowing that it's normal to have those thoughts. Everybody's gonna have their own means, but it's normal to, if you are someone who collects data, someone who's looking for a genuine solution and like trusted guidance, just sit down and think about it. And that's why I'm like, hey, no rush. Like, do we ever need to do? But knowing that. And then when you did decide though, when you're like, hey, I'm worth it, you were all in. I have to give you credits there in that, yeah, here's a plan, here's the process that we customized, but you did all the things, and you communicated with me. That's such a big part of healing. I think that's missing often. It's like something wasn't working or you felt like something was off or you wanted to change something, like you let me know. This was a partnership. And so it's like so fun in a way to do. It is with every client, but especially with you, just partnering, and so that was a big part. People know got going in. It is up to them on the outside, but you are willing to do it. And here you are. I think I'll just wrap up. Last question, asking like, or more, you went through this process for yourself to heal, and now you've had like a kind of a pretty big shift in terms of your own, like your own personal goals and things like that. Now that your energy and your clarity is back, can you just share what you're doing now after your body's rebalanced?
So it's kind of funny, isn't it? How when you start to heal your gut, everything else kind of heals along with you. You start learning how to set up boundaries all around yourself with other relationships in your life as well as food. And you then you also kind of like realize your own self-worth and value. And that's kind of like the investment piece. Like, yes, you think it's a lot of money at first, but then you're like, wow, it's kind of like an act of self-love to put this money into it. And then you realize, whoa, maybe like I could be doing other things. Like I feel so great now and I want to share this with other people. Well, anyways, long story short, I am now getting into the Gut Rehab Guide program and I'm in it and I'm ready to go. And I just want to help other people get through what I went through because it can be like a super scary, frustrating, terrible place to be for years, even for people. And if we can make it simpler and more streamlined and get you back to feeling awesome again, like that, that's what I want to be involved with. So,
Just incredible full circle. And again, thank you for sharing. I will highlight for people who didn't hear like the detail there. Eily decided after doing gut rehab, she had shared she was also a natural therapist. She had been in the natural space before, but different career now. And then she's like, wow, I want to pass this on. And so, yes, I do have a health coach training program that helps other women and men, honestly, actually become a health coach so that they can guide others as well and pass that on. So rewarding. But I think the key here, whether it was you decided to do this or you decided to just make any other shift, you were in a place after your body's rebalanced to do things for you, to do the things that you had kind of always known like you wanted to do. It's like you had that energy to do it. And I think that's what's just so great to see. It's like it goes so far beyond bloating or acne. Like you were out here, you're out here just like so aligned.
yeah, the leveling up is crazy. Like it just keeps unfolding. It just keeps happening. It's awesome.
Thank you so much. Everybody watching, I will definitely link Eily's Instagram. Follow along. She's way better at sharing recipes and different things like that already on her. No pressure, Eily. No pressure, Eily. But you probably share more recipes than I have my entire time. Go give her a follow. I know that she'll be working with people soon as well. So there's that. Thank you. And
Thank you so much.
talk soon. Okay.